Today I went and picked up a new small welder. We had a little wire welder, a little Lincoln one, just a 110 plug-in flux core. It worked good for little things, especially if you weren't around a bigger plug. And that stopped working on us last year and we couldn't get it going again. And now we need to actually weld inside the combine on a plate, a thin plate, so a stick welder won't work. So I went and picked up one of these guys. It was on sale at Farm and Fleet. So it is a MVP, which is multiple volt plug, I think. So you can plug it into either. And just about to open it up, thought I might as well make a little video of it and see what it is. When I was looking at it, I wasn't really sure what I was getting. So I got the welder, and then I picked up one of these bigger spools of wire. It says it can handle that size, or a 1 to 2 pound, or a 5 or 10 pound. And also it said it only came with 30 thousandths tips, and this is 35 thousandths wire, so I got some 35 thousandths tips. So I'm gonna open her up, see what's in there, and hopefully get some use out of it right away. Alright, so we got the cable there. It come with a spool of 30 thousandths wire. Like I said, I got the 35 thousandths wire because I'm going to be welding some thicker stuff with it. But now we got both book and tubing. This thing does come with a regulator. So if you want to run it with gas, we may run it with gas in the future, but for what we're doing, a lot of times the flux core is actually going to be a much better bet because you can handle a little bit dirtier stuff with it. Keep that regulator packaged up because that might sit for a while. Ground clamp. And hopefully I can just slide this out of here. Kind of on the heavier side. It'd be nice to have it on a cart. I'm sure a lot of guys do. Here's the, so it's got a nice big heavy cord on it, then you just put whichever end on it you need. Which that's really nice. The little Lincoln we had before, that just had, you know, a little cord on it. So I feel like sometimes you were limited by just having such a small cord on it. So this thing at least got some heavy duty wire in there, and then when you do plug it in to 230, should be good. So looks pretty decent. I am going to unwrap some of the cords and all that stuff and let you know what I find. You do need a 3/8 wrench to loosen this nut in order to put your ground clamp together. think it might actually be a 10 millimeter. Or this just doesn't fit well. So there's a little plastic wing nut kind of bolt here. You need to loosen. Loosen way up. And then on here, changing polarity, so it's DC electrode negative for flux core wire, and that's what it's on right now. And then if we were going to run solid wire, DC electrode positive, so then the electrode would get hooked to the positive wire here. But since we're doing flex core, we want to be on negative. That's what it's already set up for. So we don't need to mess with that at all. And then it appears like this is you maybe take this piece off. If you put a 1 or 2 pound, you know, a little spool on there, you take that off. But with that on, should fit the bigger spool. So now I'm going to want to get this guy cut. Get a nice square edge. So I've got that started. I should be able to, now once I get it plugged in, just feed that through. Here's a switch for if you're using a spool gun attachment or just the regular MIG gun. Got all the tables on here. Nice thing about this thing as compared to the Lincoln, this door, when you'd open it up, it would only go to about here and you had to hold it open. So this one at least opens all the way up. And it actually shuts. The other one you had to manually latch it. So that's nice. And also when you pop this off, that's spring loaded up. With that Lincoln, you had to hold this up while you were messing with stuff, otherwise it would constantly fall down in your way. So just so far using it to handle goes down. Little spring loaded down, so it seems like there's a few things that they've thought of a little bit. So I'll get it cleaned up and plugged in and see if it's up to the task. I've for a while been thinking about getting one of these hats. Otherwise, usually under the helmet, I'll just put my regular hat on backwards, but this one being mesh, I've gotten my head burned a bit recently, so grabbed one of these guys to put under the welding helmet. Hopefully get a few less burns on top of the head when I'm working underneath stuff. So I just got power over to it now. I just want to feed the wire out to the gun here. So I have the ground clamp not on anything. Turn it on. I'm going to start out with the wire nice and slow. Just to make sure it doesn't hook anywhere. I didn't put the tip on the end yet. I like to let it come out and then slide the tip on. That way if it binds at all, it doesn't bunch up the wire. Here it comes. So now I'll shut that off. That does not thread in there. It's the wrong size. What the hell? Hobart contact tips. Boy, you would think they would fit a Hobart welder. Why would you have two different sizes? Well, what I'm going to do is most likely try to get this 30 thousandths one opened up enough with a torch tip cleaner, or otherwise we've got this 30 thousandths wire. I could pull this 35 out and put that back in, but wish that they were, so watch your thread sizes when you're getting tips for your welder, I guess. But other than that, that's what comes in the box. I'm going to end this one here, and when I get the combine cleaned up and ready to weld, I'll just make a separate video on that. But so far seems like a decent little unit, other than stupid thread size. All right, well, after a few minutes with the torch tip cleaner, I was able to get it to fit. Not ideal, but it'll at least work for now. Yeah, so far, that is my only complaint of why do they have two different size welding tips. And the thing is, how this is at Farm and Fleet, they had them all on the shelf that you could look at them, but they were all about 2 inches apart. So you couldn't really open up the side panels. They didn't have the MIG guns on them. They didn't have anything on them. All you could see was just the unit itself, and you couldn't open it up or do anything, look at anything. So how was I supposed to know that these were the wrong size? But other than that, that's what it is. At least I got it, so I'll be able to use it today and return them tips and get the right size ones. So, all right, now I'll go put her to use.